Today I'm going to share with you how ChatGPT can give you a full breakdown on any market. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, on how it can work in the next months, and let me tell you, you're going to be surprised. So first of all, we're going to come to ChatGPT and we're going to give him a few prompts, basically just putting him a bit more in context of what he's going to do. So I first start off with, put yourself in the role of a crypto expert. And after that, he's basically going to give us a response where he's saying that he's now a crypto expert. So now we can go ahead and we can send him 4 charts. In this case, I've got 4, the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour and the 1-hour chart. So last charts of Bitcoin, so he can see and do his own analysis. And once I send him to analyze these charts, he'll provide me of the analysis of every chart. As you can see here, we've got the weekly time frame where he's saying that we had a clean breakout from 2022, the bear market, followed by a massive rally peaking around 108,000, as we all know. And here you can more or less give us a resume of what we can see. That is quite accurate, I must say. Then we have the daily time frame where we can see after a parabolic rise, Bitcoin is showing a series of lower highs indicating compression. However, the structure is not broken and it's more like a bullish descending wedge. As well, it's even included the RSI, that it's not included in the screenshots. That's even quite impressive. And as well, the bias right at the moment is neutral to bullish. So then we come to the 4-hour. We can see obviously in the 4-hour we're in the downtrend. And after that, it gives me the conclusion. But this isn't the most important because it's going to get deeper and deeper. And at the end, he's going to give me a full setup based on probabilities. That is quite exciting. So now I've got all this. I basically told him to now analyze the fundamentals that you think could interfere with the market. So he gives me a bunch of fundamentals, obviously like the halving, the ETFs coming out, the macroeconomic, the geopolitical, everything that can affect the market. It's just spit it out to me with some final thoughts. But now the most important is that ChatGPT knows exactly where the market is. He's done his own analysis, and as well he knows everything that could affect the market. So now what we got to do is combine these together to get a final result. So what we do now is combine your technical analysis with the fundamental ones and tell me what conclusions are and what approximate probabilities they are for each scenario. And this is the best part, because literally he spits me out this baseline synthesis, technical analysis plus fundamental confluence. We have the technical, the short term, the fundamentals and on-chain data. And now we have our scenarios. We've got scenario 1, scenario 2 and scenario 3 based by probabilities. We can see that we have a 60% of probabilities of this happening. We have a 25 probabilities that this is going to happen, and we have a 15% of probabilities for this one to happen. And obviously the first one is the one that everybody is waiting for, and it is the breakout and the continuation to new all-time highs from 108 to 120k. What triggers do we have? That Bitcoin closes above 85 or 88 with strong volume, ETF inflows continue, Fed maintains neutral to dovish stance, and no major geopolitical economic shocks. So if this continues like that, we could expect market to go to 96,000 or 108,000 to the all-time high, and have some extensions from 120k to 130k. And this is calculated with the Fib expansion and the euphoric phase. So obviously everybody's going to be buying again. And they even tell us when this could happen. That will be from April to July from 2025. So I think this is amazing. And then we have 2 more scenarios with less probabilities. That is that we stay sideways in a range. So we'd be chopping from 75 to 88. And here we got the triggers that the market digests macro uncertainty. Obviously, the US election anxiety, the slow ETF inflows. And as well as we know, the retails are not back yet. And the whales are accumulating quite quietly, as you know. And then we have the scenario 3, that is a breakdown to continue down. So we'll be retesting the 68,000 to 72,000. This one, I think, has got even a bit more probabilities than this one. I probably think it could chop down to 65, 68 with no problem. And the triggers are that we have some sticky inflations, the major black swan event, the war, the regulations, global liquidity, and as well, Bitcoin breaks down 75,000. So obviously this has got to happen, and if this happens, then we'll be looking at these over here. And the good thing is that it wouldn't invalidate the macro bull, so we'll still be bullish in the big time frames. And as well, it would be a massive buying opportunity. as saying we have the support zones at here, and the worst case, so it could wick to 63,000. But one thing that got me caught is what time frame have we got to look at for these closes here. So obviously I asked him, as you can see here on the first scenario, what time frame do we need to see Bitcoin to close? And as we can see, we need a daily close, in this case above 85. That would be this green line here. And as well, if we would go a bit lower, we would have to cross this one here. That would be the 75 as well, with a daily close. But for more confirmation, we'll be looking as well for a weekly close. So basically, if this weekly candle perhaps closes above this level, then we could just expect even more to hit the 96 new all-time high. But obviously, I think it's quite exciting that ChatGPT can actually do all this. I mean, I've just got to mark the lines out, and now I can see if we have a breakout here, we'll probably be heading to the local resistance that it marked out before, that is 96, and perhaps the all-time high. But I would love to know back down in the comments what you think about this, if you ever used ChatGPT before to do this type of analysis. I hope you're all good, and I'll see you next time.